Hello everyone and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm gonna show you how I made this picture using Adobe Photoshop. So open a new document with the resolution you want, import the field or whatever foreground you want, resize it and move it where you like it. By the way, I'm going to link every image I found and used in this tutorial. Most of them are from Unsplash and some of them are mine, so you can use them. Don't forget to name all the layers. Here I have this person running or walking, I don't know. So I just wanted to fill this up and remove the person. Just normally use the lasso tool or just select the person and use a content aware fill. That works the best. In this case I also removed this stone because I really didn't like it, and this one as well, using the same technique. Cut the field out. I use the color wrench technique in this case. Always double check and press the select mask and fine tune it with this brush. Okay, now when we have this, just place your stars or background in this image and position it however you like. I remove these small light trails of, I don't know, maybe it's a satellite, maybe it's a plane. I would say it's satellite. I'm gonna close all of this because I don't need those. Now import the car or van as I used. I already had this van cut out. Resize it and position it how you like it. Every time you're gonna resize something, always don't forget to convert it into the smart objects, so the image itself is not gonna lose any details. I'm creating a guide so I can position it perfectly into the middle. And something doesn't feel alright, and it's these persons, so I'm gonna speed this up while I cut them out. I use layer mask and brush combined with the lasso tool. In this step I select the brush sensitive to pressure because I'm using pen to brush or paint. And now we're gonna paint the brush Basically, we're gonna fake it. This is gonna take a while, so I'm gonna speed this up. Here I make a small adjustment so it's perfect. Okay, now we can import the moon and edit it. This is raw image, so immediately after I open the image, it's gonna open the camera raw. For this particular image, I would suggest you to just copy my settings, but if you don't like it and you would like to edit it your way, just do it. Okay, now we're done, and here I didn't like edges of the moon, so I used elliptical marquee tool to fix it out. Also, I used the spot healing brush to hide the stars, but in later step I completely replaced the stars and the sky, and you'll see why, so just don't bother doing this. Now we want to change the color of the field because I really didn't like how this looked and it didn't fit the scene, because if you see moon, it's night obviously. I used selective color curves and color blends. To make the van darker, I used levels. I inverted the mask and just painted with white brush into the mask. I was paying attention to small details, as you can see, because if there's a moon and it's shining through the windows, you would see a small highlight on the edge of the windows. To make field even better and more realistic, I created a brightness and contrast layer. I set the brush opacity on 40% and I paint over the light spots to make them even lighter. And later I will paint on the dark spots to make them darker. So it's gonna look like more 3D. To create the shadow of a car, I selected all the layers of the car, duplicated them, pressing Ctrl J, merged them, pressing Ctrl Alt Shift E, flip them vertically, and just play with opacity and position. After you're done with this, just blur the edges with Gaussian blur. And always pay attention to details. Here I was painting on the levels layer to make the highlights be more visible and realistic. Now this is what I mentioned earlier. I'm going to use airbrush technique. Just make a curve layer, make it darker, invert the mask, and with a very soft brush just paint over the darker places to make it more darker. And it's gonna look fantastic. Ctrl Shift N to create a new layer, Shift Backspace, and set the 50% gray to fill it with gray. Set the blending mode to luminosity and open a hue saturation level. Bump that saturation on 100% and just color match. This is the technique I use for color matching. I think it's the easiest one. Open selective colors, clip it to the car, and just play with it until you're satisfied with the results. Now import the boy I found on Unsplash and just cut him out. As you can see, the boy didn't have legs, so I downloaded another image from Unsplash and I just cut out these legs. I didn't like the position of it and I couldn't do anything with it, so I just cut one leg and I duplicate it and flip it horizontally. To match it to the image, I used hue and saturation and levels. Okay, make this person a little bit darker. And again, using airbrush technique, we're gonna create the highlights on this person. Don't forget to color match the boy, so it's gonna match the image. Earlier, we made a shadow of this car, van actually. So this time we're gonna create a shadow of this boy using the same technique. color adjustments using gradient map. Also, I use gradient map for the sky. Now we're gonna create clouds and we're gonna make them look like they are moving using motion blur. Here is the step I told you about. I'm gonna quickly replace the moon and sky and just cut the moon using marquee tool. Of course, moon is shining, so use outer glow and inner glow to make it more realistic. And guys, if you like this video and you would like to see more, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Now just create a new layer, take some pinkish color and paint over the image with low opacity brush. And last step is to merge everything together. Press Ctrl Shift A to open Camera Raw and play with colors, contrast, and with whatever you like. If you want, you can copy this, but Camera Raw really enhanced the entire image. I do this very often as last step, like a final touch. And the very last step is I sometimes use these LUTs, color LUTs. I just randomly put them on some blending mode and lower the opacity. I don't really know how to use them otherwise. Okay, this is the final result of this image. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Peace.